Let's talk about a truth that a lot of people ignore. Everyone wants to be better. Everyone has goals, dreams, things they'd love to accomplish. But for most people, those dreams stay just that, dreams. And it's not because they're unachievable. It's not because of a lack of talent or opportunity. It's because they're waiting to feel ready. They're waiting for some magical moment of motivation, some mythical right time when everything will just fall into place. But here's the truth. That moment doesn't exist. Self-improvement, real change. It's not about waiting for that feeling. It's about silencing that part of you that wants to stay comfortable, that part of you that wants to hit snooze and take the easy route, that part of you that is all too willing to make excuses. Every time you let your feelings dictate your actions, you're making a choice to stay the same. You're choosing comfort over growth, safety over success. And guess what? Every single person who has achieved something great had days when they didn't feel like it, days when they wanted to quit. But they showed up anyway. The reality is, feelings are your biggest obstacle. They make everything more complicated than it needs to be. Let's be real for a moment. How many times have you told yourself you're too tired, too busy, too stressed to do something that you know will push you forward? How many times have you decided to skip a workout, avoid a hard conversation, or put off a project just because you didn't feel like it? Feelings are the biggest excuse creators in your mind. But here's the powerful thing. The moment you realize that feelings are just temporary reactions, things you can ignore, is the moment you unlock real freedom. Because that's when you can step back, recognize the excuses for what they are, and decide not to let them control you. Think of feelings as noise, just background noise, trying to pull you away from what you truly want. And the stronger your goal, the quieter those feelings become. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to be in the right mood. The only thing that matters is that you show up and put in the work. But those who've built discipline, they don't rely on how they feel. They've trained themselves to act no matter what. And this is a skill, a practice. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. Every time you choose to do what's hard instead of what's easy. Every time you push yourself instead of giving in, you're building that muscle. And the more you build it, the less you'll need motivation. You'll stop depending on those rare moments of inspiration because you'll have something far more reliable, a habit of discipline, a foundation of resilience. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired. Discipline doesn't care if you're having a bad day. Discipline is there to remind you of the commitment you made to yourself long after motivation has left the room. Discipline is the answer. And if you're serious about becoming your best self, it's time to start building it. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the right time. Start today. Start by doing what's hard. That's the foundation of true greatness. Let's be honest here, you know what to do. You know the steps you need to take to be better, to grow, to achieve your goals, but something's holding you back. It's not lack of knowledge, not lack of resources. It's laziness. Laziness will tell you that you're too tired, that you deserve a rest, that there's always tomorrow. But guess what? Tomorrow turns into next week, next month, next year. And before you know it, the opportunity is gone. There's no magic to getting rid of laziness. There's no shortcut, no trick, no hack. The only way to beat laziness is to face it head on, to decide that you're done letting it control you. You have to make the choice, every single day, to show up. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like it. It doesn't matter if there's an easier option. If you're serious about this, if you want to be someone who lives up to their potential, then you have to start treating laziness as the enemy. Think about what it would mean if you decided to show up every single day, no matter what. Every day, in small choices, in little decisions, you're either moving closer to your goals or further away. And laziness, it's the thing pulling you back. But here's the beauty of it. Every time you push through, every time you show up, even when you don't want to, you're breaking down that laziness. You're making it weaker, quieter, until one day it barely even has a voice. So today, make a commitment. Decide that from this moment forward, laziness doesn't get a say in your life. If there's one thing you remember from this, let it be this. Achieving greatness isn't about being inspired. It's about being disciplined. It's about looking at the obstacles, the excuses, the distractions, and saying, I'm bigger than this. I'm stronger than this. I'm committed to becoming the person I know I'm capable of being. Your feelings? They're going to try and get in the way. They'll make you question your goals, make you second-guess your commitment. But when you learn to silence those feelings, when you put discipline above everything else, you're unstoppable. You're no longer waiting for life to be easy, for motivation to strike. You're actively building the life you want, piece by piece, day by day. There are people who dream, and there are people who do. If you're listening to this, there's something inside of you that knows you're capable of more. That voice, that feeling. That's the real you, the part of you that wants to be great, the part of you that refuses to settle for average. And to honor that part, you've got to show up every day. You've got to put aside the excuses, the distractions, the laziness. You've got to silence that voice that tells you it's okay to quit. Because the truth is, no one is going to do this for you. No one is going to drag you out of bed, make you do the work, or push you to become better. This is your life, your journey, and it's on you to make it what you want it to be. So starting today, turn off your feelings. Choose discipline. Commit to the journey, the struggle, the growth. Let go of the excuses, the comfort, the desire for the easy way out. The best version of you is waiting, but it's only going to appear if you do. So make the choice, not once, not twice, but every single day. The journey to greatness starts now. So soon. So you've started something new. Maybe it's working out, maybe it's trying to eat healthier, maybe it's a side hustle you're hoping will change your life. You've been at it. What, 2 days? Maybe a week? And you're already wondering where the results are. You're feeling frustrated, discouraged, and this voice in the back of your head is whispering, maybe this just isn't for you. Sound familiar? Here's the hard truth. And that mindset, that expectation that things should just happen without grit, without setbacks, that's what's killing your dreams. Think about it. We're programmed to crave quick wins, the high of instant success. But what happens when you start something that requires actual slow burn work? When you put in a full week at the gym, sweat pouring down your face, and step on the scale just to see it hasn't budged? When you launch a business and no one cares, that high you're so used to, it isn't there. And it's in that exact moment that most people quit. Let's be real. Nobody posts about the weeks, months, or years of silence before the applause. No one tells you about the early mornings where they questioned everything. You only see the before and after photos, the victory moments, the celebrations. But here's the truth. That success isn't built on those highs. It's built on a million quiet moments of discipline and doubt. And if you're constantly jumping from one thing to the next, chasing that high, you're never going to reach what you actually want. The people who succeed, they understand that delayed gratification is part of the game. They've trained themselves to see the journey, the grind, the failures as stepping stones. And when you're patient, you start to realize that every single step matters, even the ones that feel like they're getting you nowhere. If you're serious about growth, here's what you need to understand. The process isn't glamorous. There's no quick fix. Every single day isn't going to feel like progress. In fact, a lot of the time, it's going to feel like you're hitting a wall, like you're running in circles, like you're never going to break through. That's normal. The path to anything worthwhile isn't straight. It's full of curves, dead ends, and long stretches that look like you're standing still. If you want real change, you have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. You have to learn to love the struggle. Not the results, not the reward, but the day-to-day work that no one else sees. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's hitting the gym when your body is telling you to stay on the couch. It's saving money when you'd rather splurge. The magic is in those unremarkable, thankless moments when you choose to keep going. Here's what they don't tell you. Patience isn't just waiting. Patience is doing the work and believing that the results will come, even when you can't see them yet. It's learning to trust that every tiny action, every effort, every drop of sweat and sacrifice is building something incredible inside you. because growth doesn't always look like progress. It often feels like frustration, like pushing against something that won't budge. And when you reach that point, that's the signal most people miss. It's the sign that you're close. Every journey has a plateau, that infuriating, gut-wrenching period where it feels like all your work is going nowhere. And if you're not prepared for it, if you don't expect it, you're going to hit that wall and turn back. You'll tell yourself it's impossible, that you've reached your limit. But let me tell you something about plateaus. They're not the end of the journey. They're a test. When you hit a plateau, that's the moment your body, your mind, and your spirit are asking you, how bad do you really want this? Are you willing to push harder? Are you willing to be patient with the process, even when it seems like the needle isn't moving? Because if you can push past that wall, if you can outlast the plateau, that's where the magic happens. That's where real growth begins. Think about the people who inspire you, the athletes, the artists, the entrepreneurs. Do you think they never hit walls? Of course they did, but they didn't stop there. They kept going, sometimes with nothing but faith that things would eventually pay off. They understood that hitting a plateau wasn't a sign they should quit. It was proof they were moving in the right direction. And guess what? When you push past that plateau, not only will you feel stronger, but you'll become someone who can handle so much more. The next challenge? The next wall? It won't look half as daunting because you've been through it before. And each time you refuse to quit, you're proving to yourself that you can handle whatever life throws at you. If there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. Results don't come to the people who start. They come to the people who keep going. The people who understand that every journey has setbacks, frustrations, and moments that feel like you're wasting your time. But each day, you choose not to quit. You're putting yourself miles ahead of the person who never even started. You're building the resilience, the grit, and the patience that most people lack. So next time you feel like quitting, remember this, the fact that it's hard, the fact that it's taking time, the fact that you're not seeing results immediately. That's exactly what makes it worth it. Because if it was easy, everyone would do it. But you're not everyone. You're someone who's willing to stay the course, to ride out the struggles, and to prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever thought possible. And one day, whether it's a month from now, a year from now, or a decade, you'll look back on these moments and realize this is where your story began. This is where you learned what you're made of. So don't give up. Don't stop. The only thing standing between you and success is time, patience, and your willingness to keep going. Thank you for being here. And if this resonated with you, if this lit that fire inside you, make sure to stick around. Because this isn't the end. It's just the beginning. Keep pushing, keep fighting. And remember, the greatest things in life don't come to those who want them now. They come to those who are willing to wait.
Do you know how much you've been through though, and you still made it? Like you've won battles that no one will ever know about. So you have to just stop being so hard on yourself. Take a step back for a second and acknowledge how much you've actually done, how much you've overcome in your life. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for. So just take a second to be proud of yourself and your courage to just keep pushing on.
Hey, listen, what you have to understand is that nobody owes you anything at all. It's a choice. The world, friends, family, loved ones, they don't owe you anything. But the only person that owes yourself something is yourself. You owe yourself everything.
The pushback you are getting is the indicator that you are doing the right thing. It is. And if you can reframe the distaste that you get from other people as the same as that,
because they're projecting the things that they know they should be doing that you are doing that they're not doing, and you remind them of that. And so even though the mountain that you're climbing is actually a smaller one than the one that you ultimately want to climb, you're actually at the top of their mountain. On the way up, they root for you, and then when you're at the top, they try and tear you down because you remind them of the dreams that they couldn't accomplish. You might be at the top of their mountain, and so they are tearing you down because now you remind them that they haven't done it, and it's purely a projection of them onto you and has nothing to do with you. I hope that comforts someone. Every single person who wants to do something with their life and has done something with their life has gone through the exact chapter that you're going through, and it's the lonely chapter.
You value yourself, others will value you too. When you believe in yourself, the world believes in you too. When you are kind to yourself, kindness surrounds you too. When you love yourself, love finds you too. When you express gratitude, the universe responds with abundance too.
If you are arguing against your own God-given potential, you are actively destroying your confidence, you're actively destroying possibility in your life, and here's the thing, you freaking know it. People know when they have imposter syndrome. And I also hate the term fake it till you make it, and here's why. When you say, I'm just gonna fake it till you make it, you are calling yourself a fake. It amplifies your self-doubt. Instead, say this, I'm gonna get on the court and try until I make it. Because the pain of sitting in the stands and never getting down there is way greater than tripping on the court.
You're losing yourself. The distractions come at a cost, and if you can't put your phone down for 10 minutes and exist with yourself, you have a problem. Stare at the wall, and you might actually learn something, because the questions you undeniably have about your own life can no longer be pushed away by the noise. The most successful people in this world are the least bit distracted from what's going on with them, and the people that'll never know success and fulfillment define their life by distractions, knowing that is a free pass to a better life. But it's only free if you sit with your questions and search for the answers.
Progress doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It's built on days when you'd rather stay in bed. It's choosing to move forward, even when you're tired, frustrated, or unsure. It's okay to be unmotivated, but don't let it stop you. Because every time you take action when your mind is telling you otherwise, you're proving to yourself that you want it as bad as you say you do.
Because a lot of people go into growth with this idea of perfection. And right there, you're setting yourself up for failure. Perfection equals failure. Progression equals growth. Remember that. Perfection equals failure. Progression equals growth. And with progression, you're going to make mistakes. With progression, you're going to have bad days, but through it all, you're moving forward. With perfection, when you have a bad day, you stay stuck there. With perfection, when you make a mistake, you stay stuck there. Right? And so it stunts your growth.
If you're going through a really hard time, it's the truth about life. That the dark days eventually pass and clear away, and the sun comes back. And so whatever you're going through, know that this is temporary and that soon the sun is going to come out again. And I want to just show you this because the storm clouds always pass and the sun always comes out. And I love that saying that right before the dawn, that's when it's darkest. So just keep reminding yourself, whatever you're going through, better days are coming.
I know who I am. Like losing, you find out who you are. And losing sucks, but in those moments, like when you're down, it's a great time to experience you. You know, because like when you're winning, you can get this momentum. When everything's going good, you can kind of get in that groove where you're just on cruise control, you know? But when you lose and the phone stops ringing and you're at home laying in bed going to sleep by yourself and everything, the dust settles, you know, that's when you experience yourself, who you really are.
To be able to find what's right for you, you're going to have to let go of what's right for everyone else. They might say you're going the wrong way, but you have to know that you're going your right way.
When people say that life has no meaning, that isn't what they mean. What they mean is, I'm suffering stupidly and intensely, and I don't know what to do about it. Well, the suffering is meaningful. It's just not the kind of meaning you want. So how do you get out of that? You note the baseline of suffering, which is very, 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 very high. And then you say to yourself, okay, I need to do something that justifies that.
On your quest to find your purpose, you have to be willing to find your truth. We start this life with programs that are just imparted on us without our knowing or without our consent, whether it's through our parents, our friends, our family, the things we watch on TV, the music that we listen to. You're in a constant state of being programmed. And in that, we tend to lose who we truly are. And so in your journey of trying to figure out what is your purpose, why are you here, you have to go on the quest for finding your authentic truth.
There was the switch to the next year. Many people always have their new plans and new ideas. I would suggest that everyone takes a personal, small retreat and really ask yourself that question. What is it essentially that you are looking for living this life? How much of where you want to go did you achieve already? And also, are you actually still finding yourself on the way to wherever you wanted to go?
Your life will change when you take ownership of your choices. Every outcome you're living today stems from decisions you made yesterday. Want different results? Make different choices. Choose discipline over laziness, commitment over excuses, and purpose over convenience. Decide today to do one thing that pulls you closer to the life that you want. Break the cycle, raise your standards. Your future depends on your next move, so make it count.
But sometimes you have to go beyond what you're feeling. Okay, this hurts, that hurts. We can just sit down and do nothing. Or we can see how far we can push the human body.
In your life, in any given moment, the strongest dream in that moment wins that moment.
If you want something bad enough, there is no excuse in the world that will stop you from achieving it. If you want something bad enough, there is no life circumstance that is going to hold you back. If you want something bad enough, nothing short of death can stop you.
If you dread your day, that's an opportunity to take a look at your life. You were not put on this planet to wake up and dread your day. There are things about your life you need to change. Might mean that you got to change your job. Might mean that you got to have a hard conversation that you've been avoiding. Why? Because you dread it. And I guarantee you, if you go through your day and you list all of the things that you dread about your day, you'll notice that there's lots of places where you have braced in small ways and where you think this is just what it is and there's nothing you can do about it. And the truth is, you're not stuck anywhere. You're not stuck in a relationship. You are not stuck in a dynamic with your family. You are not stuck in a job. You are not stuck with your mindset. You as a human being are hardwired to change. I think that moment where you wake up and dread the day you're waking up into is one of the greatest gifts that your life can give you, because it's a gigantic wake-up call that there are things that are not working, and it is time that you wake the hell up.
How true it was when Goethe wrote, "As soon as you trust yourself, you will know how to live." Magic is believing in yourself. If you can do that, you can make anything happen. If you treat an individual as he is, he will remain how he is. But if you treat him as if he were what he ought to be and could be, he will become what he ought to be and could be.
I don't like seeing you like this at all. This ain't you. This ain't you. I don't like seeing you like this. Pick your head up. Move forward with laughter, joy, enthusiasm, passion for why you're here.
The big enemy is the comfort zone. The comfort zone is where people become comfortable doing what they're doing and they don't like to change. 80% of the population finds reasons not to change, even if the change can be positive or beneficial. The second thing that holds people back is what is called learned helplessness. This is where people feel, I can't do it. And the third enemy is what we call the path of least resistance, which is always looking for an easy way to achieve a result. But nothing worthwhile can be achieved easily.
When you're waking up every morning by yourself and you're fucking getting after it by yourself, and it's the hidden work. All those mornings that you don't want to fucking get up, and I look at it as like a rock, and you find this fucking rock, and that rock is you. And every day you fight not wanting to get up, and you do anyway. You chip another piece off that fucking rock, and every day you fucking eat the right foods, and every day you go to train, and you train harder and harder and harder and harder, and you get up earlier, and all these things you do to start forming yourself. You're chipping another fucking piece of that rock off. Before you know it, you have this beautiful fucking piece of artwork that you built.
I want you today to decide, I am going to become disciplined. That should be your only fucking goal. Because if you develop the ability to say no to the guys' nights and the girls' nights, to say no to the alcohol, if you develop that discipline, how different will your life look a year from now?
The best way to contend with problems, with issues, with adversity is action, is by taking action. The more you sit and the more you wait and the more time you spend with that adversity, with the upper hand inside your head, the worse it's gonna get. Something doesn't go the way you wanted it to go, you didn't get the job you wanted, you didn't get the hire, you didn't get the promotion. You can go home and sit there and dwell on it. That's not getting you any progress. Or you say, okay, you know what? We do a quick analysis. Why didn't I get that promotion? Oh, it's because I didn't get this qualification, or I hadn't jumped through this gate. Okay, cool. Let me look into how do I get to jump through that gate so next time I will get the promotion, and you start taking action.
Want something to grow, you need energy to get there. Your intention, your focus, your concentration, your efforts, your meditation, your action, your complete way of life, your talking and your thinking should be related to making that small spark grow.
This guy goes, hey Goggins, you on that winter arc shit? I'm like, what the fuck is winter arc? He's like, well, people are like setting goals for the winter time, like working out more, sleeping more, just better habits, goal setting, shit like that. I go, motherfucker, I'm on that 365 shit. It's not an arc, it's a circle. It's a circle that keeps going around and round and round. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Have enough pride in your fucking self to not have this hacky shit to get motivated. Love yourself enough to stay motivated. 365 arc, do a circle, stay hard.
Negative is normal. It's not successful, but it's normal. It's part of life. And here's the next key, in my opinion. You must learn to handle the negative. Don't ignore it, handle it. Now, I know some people teach the other way. And listen to them, and listen to me, and then make up your own mind. Right? Don't be a follower, be a student. But I say you got to handle the negative. You don't have to live in it, you don't have to dwell on it, but you do have to handle it.
But I want you to remember this. There's more to your life than the struggles you're currently facing. I promise you, your current situation is not your final destination. I'm just here to remind you, everything you're going through will soon turn into everything you made it through. Don't let these hard times kill you. Let it build you.
Like I always tell you, it all starts with you.
You have to keep going. You have to believe that this moment is preparing you for something amazing that hasn't happened yet.
Write down 5 things right now of things that you know you need to do, that you should be doing, that you've been putting off, and check those things off the list and do them day after day. Whether it's a workout, whether it's eating habits, whether it's opening up and starting to talk to more people, being more social, whether it's throwing yourself into the fire of these different things, throwing yourself into the fire, and even if you fail, at least you failed while daring greatly. Take more chances, because I believe not taking chances is breaking promises to yourself, because you were not created to sit here and be idle and not take chances.
There's nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is within. Everything exists. Seek nothing outside of yourself.
Treat yourself like gold, and life will become harder. Think intentionally and exist in what's going on with you. And for a while, it'll seem pointless to care so much. You'll wonder if it's even worth it to be the person whose mind is so tuned in, because it only seems to create a harsh gap between you and other people. The thing is, you'll carry on because it's a part of you. Once your mind is so tuned in, you don't lose that signal, and it'll bring you to a point of wanting to quit that search for understanding. Then, in ways you couldn't possibly comprehend, the courage of pouring your soul into something so abstract and uncertain will compound into life being way more than you ever thought it could be. Then it'll all make sense.
The painful truth is that sometimes we have to destroy ourselves completely. Then we can finally be reborn. In life, hitting rock bottom isn't the end. It's the beginning of transformation. Nietzsche once said, "One must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star." It's in the chaos, the destruction of who we thought we were, that the possibility for something new emerges. We often resist this fall, clinging to what is familiar, afraid of the unknown that awaits below. But to rise, we must first descend. Sometimes we need to go even further down, beyond rock bottom, stripping away all the layers of our old selves that no longer serve us. This journey into the depths is terrifying, messy, and isolating, but it's necessary. Only by confronting our darkness, our failures, and our vulnerabilities can we create space for the light to return. In that destruction, we are not lost. We are liberated. From the ashes of what once was, a new version of ourselves can emerge, stronger, wiser, and more authentic. The descent is not a punishment. It's a prerequisite for growth.
If you're talking about manifesting your dreams, it only requires 2 things. It requires a clear intention. An intention is a vision, a possibility. And you get this idea in your mind, that's intention. Then you write down the details. Okay, I want all of those individual elements to fortify your dream. The more you get clear on those details, the more your brain begins to work in new ways. Anytime you make your brain work differently, you're changing your mind. The moment you get inspired and you begin to feel what it would be like to live in that future, your body is getting a chemical sampling, an emotional sampling. It's getting a taste of the future. And whatever you broadcast into the field is your experiment with destiny. Most people then walk around in their life angry and upset and frustrated and suffering and victimized. Basically, they're broadcasting that signature into the field, and they wonder why their prayers aren't answered. In order to do this properly, you have to get up as if your prayers are already answered.
On your quest to find your purpose, you have to be willing to find your truth. We start this life with programs that are just imparted on us without our knowing or without our consent. whether it's through our parents, our friends, our family, the things we watch on TV, the music that we listen to. You're in a constant state of being programmed. And in that, we tend to lose who we truly are. And so in your journey of trying to figure out what is your purpose, why are you here, you have to go on the quest for finding your authentic truth.
There was the switch to the next year. Many people always have their new plans and new ideas. I would suggest that everyone takes a personal, small retreat and really ask yourself that question.